Hello, my beautiful Moglet. So, we didn't quite reach 70k, but I honestly just want to get this out of the way. And besides, we even reached a more amazing number, 69,420, once in a lifetime. So I thought, what the hell, let's go ahead and show her off early. And yeah, here she is. To be totally honest, when I first saw the initial sketch the artist gave me, I was like, there's something that looks wrong there. And then, I asked him to change a few things. And then when I got the final piece, I was like, something still kind of looks wrong there. I don't know what it is. Like, I'm not an artist. It's just my intuition tells me there's anything weird. I don't know if it's some kind of proportional thing or what, but it's like I couldn't really ask him to change something when I didn't know myself what it was. We can also bring her into paint here so you can get like a normal sort of vertical view. And but yeah, I'm sure one of the bigger things is because the artist I hired wasn't all that familiar with Live 2D, which is kind of what I needed. And so I think a lot of the work the artist did was in, having to separate all the layers. We can go through all that if you're curious too, like, sure, why not? I learned quite a bit about all this stuff and I thought it was pretty interesting in the last couple months, so can take you through my journey a little bit. So I eventually just went through Fiverr. Like a lot of the artists that came to me from my initial video where I was looking for someone, there were a lot of really promising artists, and then I found one that I liked, and I did tell like 70 people that, I'm sorry, I found someone already, and that was really stressful, not just because I had to actually, respond to everyone, but it's like, kind of disappointing, I guess. And then some of the artists I had originally planned to work with had other jobs and everything, so yeah, I was just like, whatever, I'm gonna check on Fiverr. I didn't really find anything I liked till I looked a bit deeper, and then I came across a guy called Ivan Wind. His portfolio was really, really nice. Has like little cute characters, kind of like Moglet-chan, and of course some others. These are like all commissions from other people. And yeah, I mean, his front page is this cute little lily, so I was like, okay, sounds good. And we talked a lot. I'm not sure if I'm even allowed to show like our conversation or whatever, but yeah, we talked a lot. Here was the initial sketch. You can see it's a little bit blurry, obviously, because I hadn't even paid him yet. So this is a surefire way that I don't actually steal this or anything, which is fair. But yeah, there's the sketch. And yeah, to be honest, when I first saw this, I was like, there is something kind of weird here, kind of off. I did ask for a few revisions that I could actually explain, like the bow here being sharper. I didn't like the sort of chunky square there. Dress I thought was too tight around her waist, so I made them loosen that a little bit. I think that's actually it. I also did ask for a sort of default pose, but even the final art still had the open mouth because, for Live 2D, it's better to start with a neutral pose because you're going to be like animating it. So yeah, I kind of had to make the closed mouth myself, which thankfully like isn't totally difficult, but it's a lot more difficult when you have to work with it in Live 2D, and we can talk about that a little bit as well after we're done with my journey here. But yeah, there was a sketch. I think it might also just because she's looking straight on, and I never really liked like portrait, like complete straight looking towards the camera sort of art, I guess. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I hope you get it. To be clear, her looking straight on is completely necessary for Live 2D. That's just how it works, so it's obviously not the artist's fault here. And yeah, here's a second revision. You can see the dress is a little bit more fluttery. I kind of wanted it like a lot more fluttery, but I didn't want to keep asking for that. Whatever. The gloves were his idea or the artist's idea. I don't know how it works over there in Fiverr, but yeah, the glasses I kind of just mentioned in passing, and he put them on, and I was like, well, actually, those look pretty nice, but the frames are a little bit too thick, so I asked them to thin the frames out a little bit. Then we have slightly thinner frames, but just around the nose. I was kind of thinking more like really, really thin frames, like just like 1 pixel. You see those in anime sometimes. Yeah, he just kind of thinned out the nose frame, and again, I was like, I don't want to keep bothering this dude, even though I'm like paying kind of a lot. And then at that point, I just completed the order. Again, I wasn't 100% satisfied, but that's kind of my fault, just for not knowing exactly what I wanted changed, really. And the fact she still didn't have like a default face was a bit of an issue. I did ask for one more revision, even though the order was officially complete. I'm only going to be showing my messages here because of privacy and all that. But I say, hey again, and thanks for the service. I know the order is officially complete now, so there's no obligation, but I sent over the .psd to my rigger, and he had some problems with how the layers were separated. Most importantly was the mouth, though. There's no default closed mouth, and the rest is explained best by him. Yeah, I talked about that earlier. Here's an image sent over by the Live 2D animator explaining that the top, the bottom, and the actual opening of the mouth need to be separated into their own layers so that he can, you know, manipulate them. My animator had quite a few complaints. He said overall some part is separated when it is not required, some part is not separated when it need to be, but I guess it can't be helped if the artist never worked with live 2D art before. Here are a few of my comments on the PSD. Left and right is reversed, left and right is from perspective of the character. I did like the front hair to separate into more part. Eyelashes separated in correct way. Eye highlight is not separated from the pupil. There are some minute detail that I'm not satisfied with, but still acceptable. I can fix most of the parts except for the mouth part. For the mouth part, because the mouth is very important, I will not accept this one. It should be done properly. And yeah, then he explains this image we just talked about. And also the upper and lower mouth part have extra skin color on it. So in the same layer, you need to put extra skin color below the bottom, above the top, because when you're manipulating it, it'll be moving around that color with it. And you don't want to have like nothing there or just the mouth, or you're going to be moving the mouth away and that's going to be revealing like empty space in the background, if you know what I mean. I was actually talking with the animator at pretty much the same time I even started looking for an artist, and he suggested some artists as well, but they were all booked and busy for like, you know, 2, 3, 4 weeks. You know, that's just what it is. The good artists are all full with commissions. But yeah, just to give you some idea about the length at which we were talking about this, I'm going to scroll through our entire feed. Of course, I'm going to blur everything out because I don't know if he wants our entire conversation on the internet, but you can just see like the complete mass of conversation we needed for this. There were, of course, a lot of examples thrown around. And then, of course, when we actually got to the live 2D animating part, there were a lot of issues that we were running into. I requested a few changes from him as well. As he was working on it, he was showing me examples of how everything is working. Here's also Moglet-chan without glasses. Those lines you see, I think, are like parameters in live 2D. But yeah, I think she looks pretty nice without glasses as well. In face rig, I think there's a hotkey to remove them, but I'm using VTube Studio because I think the tracking is a lot better, and they don't currently have hotkeys, but I think they will at one point. And so Shiranui also has a YouTube channel. He was planning on showcasing Moglet-chan as well. Once all the animating was done, he asked me to do some things in VTube Studio because he doesn't use VTube Studio, and to get some of the showcase effects, I guess I can show this. There's like nothing. I also did share this with my Discord server, I guess like 10 days ago. And yeah, I guess we can take a look at that real quick as well. It's technically on YouTube, but it's unlisted. And here she is being animated. We can watch this together a little bit. You can see the winking test, left and right. It's kind of funny because like my other eye does go down a little bit when I'm winking. I think everyone's does. It's just kind of subtle, but it appears less subtle here because she obviously has much bigger eyes than I do. It's kind of rotation. Yeah, I did that just for a little funny. But here we are, a little bit more up close. And here are more eye tests. So I'm kind of closing halfway, and that seems to work out fine. This sort of physics with the hair, I guess. And then the ribbon, because there's a little bit of like animating there as well, depending on how she's moving. And the dress down here as well. Yeah, I mean, everything looked like it worked out perfectly fine. It's just, again, with VTube Studio, there are no custom animations, so I do still have a couple problems. That's not the animator's fault. Like her right hand being like that doesn't look very natural, or like a default sort of pose. Some of the swirls of hair look a little rough to me, and you know, of course, she can still be worked on. So some of the bumps along the way were this, for example. You can see that looks completely odd, but I had to say, I have to be honest, that looks a little unnatural to me. Is it possible to tone down the up-down movement a lot or just not have it? And he was really quick with that. It looks definitely a lot better here. It still looks weird when he's just moving it like that, but when, you know, it's actually tracking a face or something, it doesn't look so strange. And then I mentioned when her mouth is slightly open, the lines are super thick here, as you can see. And so he fixed that as well, but then there was another issue with the nose. As you can see in this little clip here, her nose goes like crazy when I'm moving her head around. Do that again. So that was a funny bug. And then of course he fixed that as well. Also, we were pretty much wrapping up here, and I asked him if he wanted to remain anonymous or not, and he said, yeah, I would like credit, that's cool, and he wanted me to plug his Twitter and YouTube. So I'll have links to that in the description below. Once this goes up, I'm gonna tell him I put it up, and then he'll probably have the little showcase there as well. And this part I'm not totally sure if I should show, but I thought it was super charming, so I hope he doesn't mind. But after like everything was finished and I said I was more or less satisfied. He came to me a day later with a more improved model, and he said he's done some improvements on the model, and he was talking about how the art is hard to deal with. So today I calmed myself and fixed on a few things such as neck movement, face movement, color, hair, rework, and redraw some stuff in PSD and some random stuff. I do feel bad for you since I don't really manage to deliver better work. There are some improvements here and there, but I still didn't reach my usual quality, so if anything, I will have to apologize. So I personally thought the animating job was really, really well done. I just think, like he said, you know, you have to really be careful with the art in the first place. I don't want to be so harsh and say garbage in, garbage out, because I think the art is well done. It just wasn't separated as well as it should have been, and we ran into a lot of problems. But yeah, I don't think there's too much else to say. I'll probably do at least one video using her just to kind of see how it goes, just for fun, sure. I just think by now, Moglet-chan in general has lost a lot of its novelty. Maybe I'm wrong though, maybe people still really do want that, just ironically. You can leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Also, if you're like an artist and you can point out something like technically wrong here, maybe we can try and fix it. It's probably something very, very small, like maybe just a little mouth moving adjustment or something. I have no idea. Make sure to tell me what you think though in the comments down below. Dropping a like on this video if you do enjoy is always greatly appreciated as well. Thanks as always for watching, and until next time.